Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Business from the Bass Boat Podcast on the Serious Angler Network. And, folks, today's show is an interesting one. Solo show. Kind of thought through this a little bit of the trends in the fishing industry right now, and just in general, what we're seeing related to drama and everything else. It's like, man, there's a lot going on here. So I thought it would be sort of fun to basically do a 5-year prediction. 5 years from now, what changes in the fishing industry will we see? These are bold predictions. These are predictions I believe in. So I took some time, put some thought to things, pen and paper and everything else, and said, okay, what in my head personally, as someone who follows this industry and loves it a lot, what do I see trends and things happening? Okay. Number one bold prediction. We're going to start off hot here. One professional fishing league. I think that is what the industry can support. And therefore, wherever that ends up being, whether it's Bassmaster, Major League Fishing, I think one consolidated professional fishing league is the future of tournament bass fishing. It's my take. 5 years from now, that means a lot of guys would have to go get jobs or full-time jobs outside of that, or become content creators, and some of which already are, right? But just a thought there that one professional fishing league would make that pie ideally bigger for those individuals that are at the top tier. I don't know, just a hot take. I just think there's a lot of less mouths to feed. There's a lot of mouths to feed. There's less dollars coming in from sponsor dollars into professional bass fishing. And I think that's just a trend, consolidated stuff out. So, that's number one. Number two, the average age of the pro angler will decrease, as it already has begun to decrease, right? You're seeing basically this trend of young anglers, 19 years old, 20 years old. And that's always been a thing, but just more of it with the advent of technology, of guys getting good, utilizing this technology or whatever it may be, spending time on YouTube and these types of things, to where the old way was the long-term time on the water, which time on the water is still very important. And these guys are spending a lot of time on the water to get that good, but it's speeding up the learning curve, right? It's not 20 years of things now. It's faster than that. So that's number two. I don't know what that number would be, the average age of a professional angler. I would love to look at the stats on that. I bet it would be somewhere. I bet 10 years ago, it was like late 30s, something like that. Mid 30s, maybe. I don't know. Comment below on your take as far as the total age of anglers when it comes to professional fishing. I'm going to say that probably drops significantly into the, I don't know, lower 30s, something like that. And guys are going to retire sooner, right? Because of all of this trend. I think we're going to see that in the next 5 years as it is. Okay, number three. This is an interesting one. I think there's going to be very few or no co-angler events. We're already seeing a trend of less co-angler events participation in general on the Bassmaster Opens, on the Toyota Series. Co-anglers just not wanting to do as much of that, simply for the fact that they are fishing behind guys utilizing electronics, right? They're annoyed with that, which I totally understand, and have experienced personally. Also learned a lot in that. So that one's a tough one for me to deal with and think about, because I've learned a lot as fishing as a co-angler in general. And taking that away would be tough, but I understand it too. I understand why there's just less of that. But I also think it's kind of an insurance thing with organizations. They have to have two guys out on the water together. And so anyways, that's number two. I think there's just going to be less co-angler events, because I think there's just going to be less co-anglers interested in competing that way. Number four. This is kind of where we start to get into things of like, what a lot of these are related to technology, first off. So I think, let that be clear. But I think that live scope will be overshadowed and forward-facing sonar in general will be overshadowed significantly in the next 5 years. What do I mean by that? I mean, there's going to be technology that comes along that I'm sure is already there that blows live scope out of the water or whatever forward-facing sonar you use. I think it's going to be able to tell you the size of the fish, the direction the fish is going, which you can already kind of tell to some degree on live scope, but even better, the species of the fish. These types of things I think are just going to continue to spiral and advance. And so I think 5 years from now, we're going to be looking at electronics in a different way. We already are, and we're starting to put setbacks and things on certain electronics. But I think that's certainly going to change. Stuff's just getting too advanced. I always relate to the hunting world and look at rangefinders and thermals and all kinds of crazy technology related to that, and technology advances, whether we like it or not, and it's going to continue in the fishing world. We're a capital society, and that stuff is going to continue to sell, and people are going to chase that stuff down. So that, I think, is a trend that will continue, and I don't think we'll be talking about forward-facing sonar. It will be something different. I really do, or some super advanced version of said technology. And this may be the boldest prediction of all. Number 5 is going to say is basically stating, look, at the end of the day, I believe in Mother Nature. And quite frankly, I think that at the end of the day, Mother Nature wins, even with technology, and that bank fishing will become popular again. We should have a 2029 or a 2030 t-shirt that says bring back bank fishing. Or maybe we just have that now. Bring back bank fishing. That's a lot of bees. Anyways, basically, I think that these fish are going to get sick of us scoping them and throwing at them on top of their heads. And they are going to simply get throttled, and they already are, and they're already getting pressured out. That's going to continue and continue and continue. And on these pressured fisheries, I think that you are going to see guys start to win or do better on the bank. And that's bold because we've seen how forward facing has dominated almost all times of the year. And it still will do that. I don't think it will completely change that. I just think that there's going to be more of an opportunity for shallow fishing in the next 5 years, because I think that fish, animals in general, respond to pressure. And when there's a lot of pressure somewhere, they're going to go somewhere different. And if all the pressure's out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the lake, those fish are more than likely going to say, I'm out of here. Get me to the bank, get me protected, get me in some grass, somewhere I'm not just getting a million minnows flicked over my head. So that's my take. I would love to know from anybody out there in the Ethernet, in the world, your take on all of this. What do things look like for you in 5 years fishing wise as an individual? Where do you see yourself doing, whether you fish tournaments or not, or fish from the bank, whatever it may be? Where do you see yourself at? And then what trends do you see in the industry as well that are going to maybe fall through? Or tell me, hey, I'm pound sand and you're wrong on these. Would love to hear that too. So drop a comment below on YouTube. If you are on Apple, Spotify, those types of things, shoot us a message on Instagram at Serious Angler. And yeah, guys, hopefully you're getting ready for a bunch of Black Friday sales, etc. Omni has got some great stuff coming up, and support those brands that support us. So appreciate everybody. Hope everyone is having a good November and getting ready for a long winter ahead for everyone up north. I know how that goes. All of you down south, hopefully you're still enjoying a bunch of time on the water. We're still getting out when we can, and we'll continue to do so. Anyways, have a good night, everyone.